Good morning to you all viewers. I welcome you all to this early morning broadcast. I is Amanda Neze from the platform of Okute Daily Talk. Well, the news I carry come for now this day, my wonderful BIAFRANS brothers and sisters say, home and abroad, is a very obonga and 10 vital reasons from the Amnesty International Limited and also the Human Rights Writers Association, which is a Horewa. I mean, these are, most of them are international bodies speaking for release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and why the so-called Supreme Court or Apex Court has been called should uphold the judgment of the what? The Appeal Court in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the 13th day of October 2023, discharging and acquitting him. We are waiting for the good news, but it is very, very important and necessary we listen to all these things so that on the day, which is the 15th day, the very day that we are waiting for the celebration for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to join us, the BIAFRANS family, and also to join his family, both extended and immediate, to celebrate the Xmas, to look at the vital points that even our so-called lead councils, the sons, and the giant bells among them, to be able to do what? To present the facts before whoever that will be the judge to decide the fate of the Biafrans that awaits the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Well, before we can be able to proceed on reading between the lines, I would like to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for your immensely supporting this channel, for making sure that this channel is moving to the permanent side and moving at the right direction. May the Almighty Chukwuka Abiyama bless you all. Well, before then, please help me like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you refuse to share this message, you are a fool, because this message needs to even get to the every nooks and crannies of the Biafra land, the African soil, and also to all the Europeans or Westerners or Western allies to this mistake of a country that don't want anything good coming from Biafrans. But before that, remember our campaign is still going on. Hashtag free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, free Biafrans, hashtag all hail Biafra, and hashtag Biafran to the moon and Biafran to the world. Ngwa, catching your seatbelt too, because this one is going to be a little bit longer broadcast. But I urge each and every one of us, once you start to watch this video, please, I beg you in the name of whatever you believe on or whatever you agree that is working for you, watch this news to the end and make sure you didn't miss any single line. You get why. Let us go there. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a self-determination movement advocating for the restoration of the sovereignty or sovereign state of Biafra, was kidnapped from Kenya by the Nigerian security agents in the June of 2021. The operatives in their conspirators tortured the IPOB leader and then extraordinarily renditioned him to Nigeria. Blindfolded, manacled, and severally tortured for 8 good consecutive days, Kanu was bundled to Nigeria without fulfillment of the legal extradition proceedings as required by the existing local and international protocols and laws, and has since been illegally and unconstitutionally detained in the Nigerian Department of State Service, DSS solitary confinement. Despite several court orders, particularly in the appellate court, which summarily discharged and acquitted him of all frivolous charges on the 13th day of October 2022, as well as the 6 months ultimatum issued by the United Nations Working Group on Human Rights few months earlier, directing the Fulani control government of Nigeria to release him unconditionally with a very huge compensation according for gross human rights violations on the rights of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. However, the Nigerian government has continued to show defiance and contempt by flouting these orders made by various competent court jurisdictions, as well as the objective opinion of the United Nations Working Group. Instead, it went on to approach the Supreme Court for appeal which are scheduled to make final ruling on the case on the 15th day of December 2023, even though it did not obey the judgments of the subsequent lower courts. Hence, it is imperative to outline from the fundamental reasons by the Supreme Court is legally adjoined to uphold justice as obtained with its peripheral wings, that is lower courts, in full accordance with the stipulations of the Nigerian Constitution as well as international laws, and free the IPOB leader through its herald judgment come the 15th day of December 2023. Here are the main reasons why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case is supposed to be or must be upheld by the Apex Court. Number one on our list is right to self-determination. The principles of self-determination is embedded and elaborated in various international charters, most notably the United Nations Declaration on the Granting of Independence to Colonial Countries and People's Resolution 1514 XV, adopted by the General Assembly in 1960, Article 1 of both International Covenants on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. African Charter on People's Rights, which Nigeria is a signatory to, recognize the right to self-determination is a basic, inalienable right of indigenous people. Therefore, it behoves the Supreme Court to take cognizance of the provisional legalities of the above and why the agitations and demands of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB movement are protected under international law for self-determination. Number two on our list, international crime of extraordinary rendition. The Fulani government committed a gross blunder by failing to adhere to the extant laws on the extradition when it forcibly kidnapped and renditioned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria 2 years ago. This singular act stripped the Nigerian government and its judiciary the jurisdictional authority to prosecute Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria. Thus, a benchmark for reference by which the Supreme Court is obliged to acknowledge while administering its judgment on the 15th of December. Number three on our list here we have appellate court ruling. Recall that on the 13th day of October 2022, the Appeal Court quashed all frivolous charges brought up against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the Fulani control government and went further to discharge and acquit him. However, this judicial order was never obeyed by the Fulani government, setting a dangerous precedent on the independence of the Nigerian judiciary. The Supreme Court is therefore entreated by judicial protocols to uphold justice as with the appellate court. Number four, judiciary's constitutional duty to dispense justice when needed. With regard to several sections of the Nigerian Constitution, which hitherto directed and empowered the Nigerian judiciary to ensure diligence and competence in discharging its constitutional judicial responsibilities by upholding justice and fairness, it is vital that the Supreme Court ensures the dispensary of justice in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as guaranteed by the so-called Nigerian law. Number five, interest on national security. It is no news that since the extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, there has been an upsurge of various criminal groups, especially in the southeast, who readily cite the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu as the reason behind their menace against the innocent, law-abiding citizens, as well as attacks on security operatives. Even though Nnamdi Kanu, and the IPOB movement have consistently disassociated themselves from the criminal activities of these groups of recruited agent provocateurs and the Trojan horses. Their menace have continued nonetheless. Hence, it is a matter of security urgency that the Supreme Court frees the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, so as to disarm the criminals of their pretext used by nefarious operations and to enable the easy identification of these wreaking havoc in the southeastern region. The number 6, compliance to international standards and judicial values. The Nigerian judiciary is obliged under the existing international standards such as United Nations Conventions, African Charters, treaties and covenants, including the Nigerian Constitution, to comply to these tenets and the principle guiding national and international judicial system. Also, it requires compliance to upholding the judicial values upon which the judicial system was established. These core individuals' values include judicial independence, judicial impartiality, judicial integrity, judicial propriety, and equality. The Supreme Court is thereby expected to manifest its ethical and professional compliance to these judicial principles by releasing the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, unconditionally. Number 7, constitutional protection of citizen rights. The Supreme Court, under Section 34 to 46 of the Fundamental Human Rights enshrined in the 1999 Nigerian Constitution and the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is by these laws compelled to protect the fundamental human rights of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whose rights, including rights to independence, medical health care after his tragic ordeal in Kenya, have been violated by the Fulani government of Nigeria and its security agencies. Thus, his unconditional release is vital to enable him undergo rigorous necessary surgery to ascertain the level of damage inflicted on his person within the past 2 years of physical and psychological torture in solitary confinement. The number 8, maintaining the supremacy of the rule of law. The principal rule of law and its supremacy in constitutional governance cannot be overemphasized in this regard. Therefore, in compliance of upholding the supremacy of rule of law in the zoo, the Supreme Court, under all subsisting constitutional laws and provisions, is obliged to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally as a practical testament to the prevalence of the above. Number 9 on our list, precedent of judicial exploits and noble conduct by IPOB since inception. From ab initio, abducted and detained IPOB members at all times, when charged to court, have continued to secure overwhelming victories across various Nigerian courts through the professionalism of the IPOB legal team. This underscores the nobility of their cause and the methods through which they pursue their quest for self-determination. Thus, absolving IPOB from all terrorist and criminal inclinations labeled against them by the Fulani or the Zoological Republic of Nigeria government, as no Nigerian court has ever convicted any IPOB member. Instead, IPOB continues to sweep through judicial battles in victory. This antecedent is also a prerequisite for the Supreme Court to look into and uphold the judgment of the appellate court for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The last but not the least, number 10, repairing the already battered image of Nigeria globally. Nigeria came under international disrupt after the federal government or the Fulani government crowned her woes with the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without any extradition proceedings, as well as the defense to the directive of the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention. This blatant show of contempt to others, directive from reputable global institutions, brought Nigeria to the central stage of international disdain, requiring a ballot from such public show of shame. It therefore becomes a national imperative binding on the Supreme Court of Nigeria to intervene and aim at redeeming Nigeria's image from further ridicule and disrupt, which the executive arm has misguidedly imposed on it. And this could commence with the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is important to emphasize that the fate and future of Nigeria statehood is presently constituted is invariably dependent on the Nigeria Supreme Court and its decision come the 15th day of December 2023. The preservation of law and order in the enclave, as well as the already depleting influence of the judiciary, is so determined by how impartial their submission appears. Will the Nigerian Supreme Court allow the state to snowball into chaos and anarchy when she wields the might to prevent such a catastrophe? But the question there is, will they ever allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go, even when the court says so? Because DSS now is another organization on their own, according to what we are saying. They are no more under the law. Because when the law say yes, they will say no. When the law say no, they will say yes. That is the issue we are facing in a country that have no law, a country that have no rule of law, a country that have no any single respect for human rights. They keep on abusing human rights every now and then. Well, only time shall tell, and that time is almost upon us. May history and posterity judge all for their deeds and contributions towards whatever is happening, either in Biafra land or outside the Biafra land. But the simple truth still remains that posterity must only judge each and every one of us. Anyway, this message is being written by Kelechukwu Ezi Augustine, and also be edited by Enenyanwite Yabonyoku Ikechukwu for the Family Writers Press International, and the broadcaster remains no other person but Amanda Neze from the platform of Okute Daily Talk, where we speak to you the undiluted truth, where you will always hear the truth and nothing but the truth, where we speak something that even when the ear hears, the ear begins to tingle, because we don't propaganda and we don't miss what we don't paint words. We go straight to the point. We always hit the nail on the head. We always provide you with every detailed information on the news we are giving to you. That is why you have to do everything humanly possible to make sure you belong to this family, because we are moving to the right direction and we are moving to the permanent site. This ministry must grow, whether the enemies like it or not. So, my wonderful Biafran brothers and sisters, people who always believes in me, this one I just say make I bring it to on a notice so that everybody go join hands and discuss the way forward, because 15th comes the 15th December 2023, Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, must be freed, whether they will like it or not, and it will be unconditional, which I beg, and also compensation. As a High Court in Enugu State have awarded a sum of 8 billion naira for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as compensation. High Court in Abia have awarded 1 billion naira as compensation to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which I beg, so shall it be, that no any death of hell shall prevail. And that is where we stand. So have a nice day. Help me share, like, and comment. I'll be right back with another blockbuster. Bye for now, my wonderful people. Kemesiano.